Hello, and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today I'm going to be doing a full analysis of the brand new SuperStreet gameplay trailer. Now, this is the first time we've seen actual in-game driving around gameplay of the game, like, for the first time, and I must admit, it doesn't look, like, graphics-wise, visual-wise, it doesn't look too bad. Now, we'll get onto my opinions about the gameplay a little bit later on, but as you can see, right off the bat, we've got a car that's been modified beyond almost recognition, and you can see it's got vents and fins and scoops and things everywhere. This looks a little bit more like a beginner car. Looks kind of like the back end of an early 2000s Honda Civic, but we'd have to kind of, obviously the cars in this game aren't licensed, so you can kind of pick and choose the resemblance as you will. But they show some screens like this before getting into the actual gameplay, and what's interesting to me about this is how you see the body color and then you see the white bumper, and usually that's because the people that put it on haven't painted it yet. So in this particular car, with the bumper and, the roof scoops, which are, I don't think there's been a game with roof scoops in, God, I don't know how many years. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen roof scoops as an option in anything. But remember this car, because we'll get back to it later, and it looks actually kind of similar from the front to an EK. So, moving on, now we see a car that looks very similar to, Evo 10, and it's definitely been modified in terms of, the lighting department. You've got the modified headlights, you've got the underglow. I'm not too sure about I'm sure the wheels have been touched, but this car also has, a wide body and stuff like that, so I'm not sure if the wide body automatically pushes the wheels out, or if you can actually adjust that independently, but this is, I'm assuming, where that hatchback that looks like an EK Civic starts. It starts pretty much as a rusty, ugly, near wreck of a thing that you then build up into your own personal tuner car / racer. Now, moving forward, you actually see it coming up to the start line of a race, and if you look over there, it looks like we have the back end of, from behind, kind of looks like an E46, E36-ish BMW. That's a car that we haven't seen before, and it's interesting to see it, but we also see that car return later in the trailer, and it has a very odd-looking front end in comparison to the back end. Now, once this starts, this is the first time we've seen any gameplay of it driving around. This particular car actually looked very understeery on that previous corner, but again, you gotta remember, it's kind of stock-ish, and it's front-wheel drive, so it's definitely, I think, going to look pretty understeery, and it's probably going to drive a little understeery as well, but I think that the physics in this game kind of give off the vibe of everything is accented, so it feels like understeer is going to be accented, and oversteer, as you'll see later, is probably going to be accented a lot as well. Now, you also see the damage with, doors getting crumpled and crushed in, and, parts flying off and things like that, and I think this is that same hatch that we saw earlier with the unpainted bumpers. So they're kind of telling a little bit of a progression story here. This is the front of that car with the rear that looks like an M3, which is very weird. And you'll see, once it passes by, it kind of looks like a BMW from the back, but it looks kind of Mustang-ish from the front. Now, this is also a little bit of a demonstration of the damage. You can see it looks like we've got the front bumper coming off. We can see a little bit of, kind of kickback from the wall, and then once it kind of flops down, you can see we have a fender missing as well. This lineup is very weird because we see what looks like, a Subaru, a Golf, and then a Camaro-ish looking thing from the front end, and then we see also what looks like a Skyline. Now, this looks like the start of a drag race. I'm not sure if it actually is or isn't, but it looks like the start of a drag race. I do like the visual style. I think the visual style does look interesting, considering the fact that we've seen, at this point, we've seen day, we've seen night. This is also way out in the middle of a desert somewhere, so we've seen, kind of a desert environment. We've also seen some urban and city environments, and when the cars go sideways, they look like they're gonna kind of use a sort of brake, I don't want to say brake to drift system, but it definitely looks like they're going to be very slidey and very willing to move around. I like that they've really kind of accented the boost. There's a lot of, it's super over dramatic, I think, but at the same time, this game is not, to be taken super seriously as some kind of simulator, so I think they can totally feel free to go over the top with things like boost. Now, here near the end of the trailer, we see a slider on the outside, and it just powers through, passes everybody, and then he goes into this corner, and the whole car lifts very awkwardly, I might add. I feel like this is a very weird thing. It makes the cars look really light, and we'll have to see what happens with that later on as this plays out. But also, here you can get kind of a more close-up shot of the damage. You can see the doors have flung open. You can see the NOS bottle in the back. You can see the seats. And never mind the fact that it looks like an Evo, but it's got an engine that's mounted longitudinally instead of transverse. But again, you know, little odd quirks here and there. But I'm definitely interested to see more about what this game is like. So if you guys enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comments below what y'all thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys next time.